Welcome back to the Snakes here on OOTP 23. It is the end of the 2027 season, and we are looking to embark on this offseason and improve our team and really just start competing more with the Dodgers, I would hope. I'm fine with being a team that's second place in the NL West every year. We're not going to overtake the Dodgers because obviously the Dodgers just every year are just invincible almost. I mean, they win like high 90s, 100 games every single season. They've got the biggest budget. They spend like crazy. They get all the best players. It's hard to compete with them. So, I mean, even if we can just be like the second team in the NL West and even like the top wild card, that's probably the goal for next year, is getting the top wild card spot. Last year, we were the third. This year, we were the second. Top wild card spot, not out of the reach. We were only 2 games back of that this season. Obviously, disappointing result in the wild card, but hopefully we can continue making the playoffs next year for a 3rd year in a row. And as you can see here, we have a couple decisions to make in the offseason. Couple options. First off, right off the bat, Rafael Marchand, $3.5 million. We will be accepting that. That's an easy accept option here. Execute option. So Marchand is back. Morejon, though, I don't believe we're going to bring him back. He was, a little under 2 WAR this season. A little less than below league average pitcher, or a little less than league average pitcher, a slightly below league average pitcher. I'm not really trying to pay a guy $8 million. He's going to get bumped up to 8.5 next season for what he is. We're not trying to give him another year. So we are going to decline his last year, avoid his last year. So our owner is actually quite happy with a lot of stuff we did. He's happy that we made the playoffs. He's happy that we upgraded at shortstop. He's happy that we acquired Eli White as a team leader. Improved draft record is, I guess he's not happy with that because our draft record has not been great because the guys we've drafted just haven't come up and been like huge contributors yet because we've drafted a lot of like high school guys in the higher rounds of the draft, it seems. And they just haven't come up and performed yet. Like Tamar and Anderson are still, around league average hitters, haven't really had that breakout season. Long term, he's happy with their improved staff cohesion. I guess they're feuding. Last time I checked, they weren't, though. Where am I looking here for? Staff roles? I guess they are feuding. But we are going to be replacing our first base coach this offseason. So, maybe we can improve that this year. And then, of course, he wants us to sign Cedric Mullins, which is just not going to happen. We're not going to bring him back, I don't think, unless he's willing to take a significant discount or he ends up accepting the qualifying offer because we're probably going to QO him. It would be a huge discount of this if he accepts 1 year. I have a sneaking suspicion he's not going to want just 1 year of the QO. And he has decided that we are going to have a budget of $156 million. This is a team payroll of around $140 million. So if we take a look at our budget here, decent amount of money to spend this upcoming offseason. We've got 44 for free agents, 44.9 for free agents, 49 for extensions. Also, I don't usually ask for help in videos, but if anybody is like a mastermind with what to do with the ticket prices, possibly leave some ideas down in the comments because I never really know what to do with ticket prices. I usually just kind of keep it around where it is when I start, and I kind of just like raise it or lower it by like $2 maybe. Am I doing that like totally wrong? Am I like leaving a ton of money on the table here? Like, am I going to increase my budget a ton if I like crank this up to like $40 or something like that? Now, obviously, I know this is all variable based on like what your team situation is and whatnot. But if anybody has an idea of what they would do in this situation for their ticket price, leave them down in the comments, please, below. I would appreciate that very much. And our first base coach has retired, so that is what we will have to replace at the major league level. We've also got some minor league coaches that we did not bring back that we are going to be replacing here. The top 100 prospects list got published. Pineda up to 6th now. We take a look. He was not good at all in A-ball. A 29 WRC plus and 400 plate appearances, negative WAR. But he's still a top 10 prospect. So maybe he'll do the thing where he wasn't good in rookie ball. Second year of rookie ball, he was really good. And then this year in A-ball was not good at all. Honestly, one of the worst players in the league. Did not mean to back out there. One of the worst players probably in the California League. Maybe next year, he will be among one of the best players in A-ball. Whether that's with Visalia. I have not even bothered to look how to pronounce Visalia the Rawhide, or if it's going to be with the Hillsborough hops, but hopefully Pineda is much better next season. We also have Bobby Dahl, Jack Lausch, and a different Pineda, Juan Pineda, a catcher on this list. Juan Pineda was a scouting discovery in 2025 who kind of just broke. I don't know. He wasn't good last year. He kind of had an okay season in rookie ball. I don't really know why he's developed so much or why they're so highly touted for him, but I mean, you know, if he turns into this type of catcher, I mean, that is pretty solid. As a 21-year-old, little older than 21, he'll be 22 by the season starts. He's a switch hitting catcher. Definitely worth keeping an eye on. I don't even believe he's on my... He is not, so we'll have to add him to the prospects list. What we know about Bobby Dahl and Jack Lausch, obviously, Lausch ended the season with the D-backs, and he's interesting because we're going to have to make some decisions here with our outfield. Obviously, there's only 3 outfield spots, and there's only 1 DH spot. And, you know, we have a shit ton of lefty bats at the major league level. He's another lefty bat. Obviously, our scout thinks that he could be a really, really good major league player. Right now, we've had some trouble with bringing guys up to the major league level and having them actually be good. Like, if we take a look at our bats here, in the outfield, obviously, Corbin Carroll, long-term in left field. He's locked up there. Thomas, long-term in right field. He's locked up there. I believe they're both even good defensively. Yeah, 4 ZR for Thomas in right. And then Corbin Carroll has a 5 ZR in left. So, you know, both of them locked up long-term right and left. Carroll is a bit fragile, tends to not play full season. So, you know, maybe Lash is worth keeping around as like an insurance guy for Carroll. You know, maybe he's the 4th outfielder this upcoming season. I would be fine with having him as the 4th outfielder. Scott's got no options, but I mean, if we have to waive and DFA him to make room for Lausch as the 4th outfielder, I would do that. Obviously, Lausch is not going to play center field because he's just not a center fielder. We don't want this playing center field. We would ideally like to have an actual center fielder be in center. So, I mean, we could have him there, but I really don't want to do that because he's just not a center fielder. He should be playing the corners if he ever plays in the outfield. And then obviously we have Josue Cruz as our DH, who does what he does, hits home runs, hits doubles. He's our big bopper in the lineup. Obviously, we're not going to take him out of that DH spot against right-handed pitching, against left-handed pitching. You know, he doesn't play there because he can't hit against lefties. I mean, I guess Lash could play there, but I mean, he's a lefty too. So, I mean, he's not going to be the best bat against lefties. Not that he's fully developed yet anyways, but he's not going to be the best bat against lefties either. But yeah, the point being, Jack Lausch, interesting position with him. He could possibly be trade bait at some point, but I think this year we're probably going to go into the season with him as our 4th outfielder. And then Bobby Dahl, we know about him. He was our 1st-round pick in 2026, 2nd overall. He was not good in Double-A in his time. He tore up A-ball this year in his first season of his first full season of professional ball. Tore up A-ball. I was like, all right, I've seen enough. Let's put him up in Double-A. Not even just skip high A because it's the same level as A in this game. We move him up to Double-A and definitely struggled, you know. As you would expect, he's very underage for that league. He's almost 21, so he was definitely a younger player for that league. I'm not too worried. I feel like he'll be able to bounce back, and hopefully in 2028 with like a full season in Double-A, he can really start to put things together now that he's got his feet under him a bit more at that level. Well, we do actually have a pitcher on the top 100 list as well, Nelson Mohica, who is a minor league signing we picked up right around June of 2026. I probably signed him to be on the rookie ball. Yeah, I definitely did. I signed him to be part of a rookie ball team, was not good, but I probably looked at his like potential and I was like, oh, we'll put him in A ball for a full season. Wasn't really good there either, but I guess scouts think he's really good. The number 30 prospect ranking ground ball pitcher. We all know I love the ground ball pitchers. Possible really good curveball in his future, but low work ethic as well. So he's a guy who, you know, maybe we try to trade at some point, maybe even this offseason for like a decent guy to have at the major league level, because I feel like we are at that point where we can start to really open up the trade possibilities here and try to trade some away of our prospects, because we have a really good farm system. And, you know, I don't want to trade away all of them. I'm not trying to like tear the farm down, but you know, we can use it to possibly help us, you know, compete with the Dodgers a bit in the NL West. All right, so I made a little adjustments here. We have a little bit less money right now because I made the adjustment of putting our player development budget back up to 1,500 because I did have it below the baseline at 10 million. Not 1,500, 15 million. It was at 10 million, now it's back up to 15 million because I'd like to have it at least a little bit above the baseline. And then we also did the same thing with our scouting. Basically returned it to a little bit higher than it was before we dropped it down to whatever it was last season. I think we dropped it down to like exactly the baseline. We had it all the other seasons at like 9.5 because that's just what it was default. And now I'm bumping up to 10. So, you know, if I have to bump these down at some point, we can. But as of right now, that's where they're sitting. All right, so just taking a quick look at arbitration here. We have quite a few guys that we can bring back on pretty cheap deals here in this upcoming season. One of them being Marcelo Martinez, who we picked up in the Pablo Lopez trade. Why do I keep mixing them up? Pablo Sandoval, Patrick Sandoval, and Pablo Lopez. It's Pablo Lopez. We traded him for Marcelo Martinez, and he actually has, how many more years of team control? Just one. So he just has this upcoming year of team control, but we are going to bring him back. We are going to bring him back at around that much, you know. No harm in bringing him back in the rotation. He can definitely be a guy who helps us down the helps us this season with, you know, solidifying our rotation. Aaron Ashby and DL Hall are guys who are making a little bit more than I would usually like to pay for relievers, especially DL Hall. He's into the 200s. They're both on the last year of their deals, and I'm honestly kind of tempted to try to sell high on them and get something for them here at the deadline. More team-controlled relievers, that they could just replace those. Like we could either get, like I said, more team-controlled, more relievers with team control, I'm trying to say. I can't talk. For Ashby and Hall to replace those guys, or maybe we can get a bat or something. But these guys are both coming off incredible seasons at the back end of the bullpen, and like I said, they are both on the last year of their deals. So they just have this upcoming season left, and then they're gone, and then I'm not bringing them back because I do not sign relievers long term. We should know about it by now. So DL Hall and Aaron Ashby, guys who I could possibly look to swing this offseason in a trade, and I'm thinking I'm leaning towards doing that, honestly. Eli White is another guy who is eligible for arbitration this year, and he is projected to make $7 million as just like, you know, he's a bench player. You know, I guess he's had some times where he's been like a one-war player with like an all-round, a really good year in 2022, honestly, but he barely played. But, you know, when he plays much, he's like an all-round league average hitter, a little bit below, a little bit above, got some pop to his bat, you know, not the worst player, but I mean, I don't really want to pay him $7 million for that. So he's also a guy we are either going to non-tender in arbitration. Where is he? He is here. We are either just going to withdraw this and just let him walk, or we are going to try to flip him, like possibly for some controlled relievers is something we could do. But the rest of these guys, honestly, I'm quite interested in bringing back. Like Elder has multiple years of team control. I'm fine with giving him that much money. Max Meyer is a guy who maybe we don't bring back. He was not good for us in the big leagues. Ended up going down to Reno, was really good in 5 appearances in the bullpen. But, you know, I guess we'll have to decide if we want to bring him back or not. But he's on the bubble of guys we want to bring back. Luke Murphy is somebody we might decide to bring back. How much team control does he have? He actually has 3 more years of team control because he just spent his whole last season in AAA. He was very good in AAA, so, you know, he has been good for us in the big leagues. Before, if we take a look at his stats, he's pitched a decent amount in the big. Yeah, his first stint with us in the big league was really good. 2024 was not. 2025 was solid, and then 2026 was okay, around league average. So, you know, he's never been able to quite replicate that 2023 stint he had with us and now known as now known as Anaheim, because I changed them to Anaheim, as we can see, Anaheim Angels. So Murphy, possible guy we bring back. Meyer on the bubble. Weissenberger, he's probably going to be back 100%. He's got plenty of team control left at a cheap rate. Gavin Sheets, though, is a guy who I might possibly try to swing. $5 million, you know, not the biggest deal, but also he's a first baseman. So, you know, he's only about like a 1 WAR, slightly above average bat last year, or this year for us. Last year, obviously, he tore things up. He got hurt towards the end of the season. You know, maybe things would have been differently in the postseason if we had Gavin Sheets. But I mean, he is about to be 32 this upcoming season, essentially. Maybe somebody I'm looking to swing here because he is also, actually he has 2 years. He has this upcoming and then 1 more year. So 32, 33 age seasons. He's a first baseman. Could we possibly try to get something cheaper at that position or, swing him for something else? That's something I will look into, but he might be back, he might not. Jose Miranda was a guy we picked up in a trade last offseason, and he actually didn't end up playing the big leagues for us at all this year. Was around a little bit below league average in AAA this year in 95 games. Another guy who we might keep around to have on the team, right-handed bat. We could always use those. We have way too many of them on the team right now. But to be decided with Miranda. We'll make the decision on him a little bit later into the offseason. Josue Cruz will obviously be back. But like I said, so Eli White, Max Meyer, Murphy is on the bubble, Sheets is on the bubble, DL Hall and Ashby are possible trade pieces. That's what I'm looking here for the arbitration guys. And then Morejon's just not going to be brought back. Let's see what he's even wanting. He wants like 7.5, so I'm not going to give him the QO because he would just accept that in a heartbeat. Mullins here just made 27.6 last year, and he's He's expecting to only get 12.6. He is going to be 33, though. And if I drop this down to like 1 year, maybe 2, he's probably going to want a little bit more. So maybe we aren't going to QO him, because if I QO him, he's going to accept that, and we're going to be stuck with another QO that we don't really want to pay when we could get him on something cheaper than a QO. That's another thing that's to be decided, because he's obviously a solid center fielder. He is going to be 33. He's getting up there in years. He is going to start declining. Obviously, he wasn't good for us this year. He was a 3-WAR player for us in 2026, around a league average bat, and his bat is starting to go. So that's kind of scaring me here. With Baltimore, he was a very, very, very solid above-average hitter. Came to us around league average hitter. Good defensively still. Then last year, we all know, got post-concussion syndrome. Wasn't good at the plate even before he got post-concussion syndrome. Was okay in the field. Didn't get a single hit in the postseason once he came back either, even though we did rush him back from his injury. So do we want to pay him like $12 million to be back on our team, a little more than $12 million? That's also to be decided. So I'm here looking at waivers right now just to see if there's anybody that teams are giving up on that are interesting. And this Elysiel Santana guy is extremely interesting. Barely any Major League service time. Our scout team seems to think that he is a very solid hitter who's going to walk a ton, not strike out, be an above league average bat, around league average power-wise. Right-handed hitter, too. We could always use that. And, another outfielder, but we can absolutely use him on our team. He's got 1 more year of option left. Absolutely somebody we could use on our team here. Hasn't really hit well, though, is the thing. So that's probably why they're just giving up on him, because he hasn't performed in AAA in 2026, AA and AAA last year. Wasn't really any good. Was good in A-ball in 2025. Just hasn't ever been able to reproduce any seasons like these. But he's 25. I feel like he's worth it. He's extremely cheap here. So I think we are going to slap a claim on Elysiel Santana here and see if we can get him. And then there's also a possibility of a couple guys here. Jordan Beck stood out because he's my concho and, fun to watch in college. This universe hasn't really, stat-wise or ratings-wise, hasn't really turned out to be too much here. Look at his stats, though. He has put up a 4-WAR season in AA, hits a ton of home runs, and he's one of these guys who just puts up these stats, these numbers, but I guess just hasn't equated to a good rating. He's kind of interesting to slap a claim on, even if my scat doesn't think he's the greatest. It seems like he hits. And he hits home runs. So, could be interesting. Or the other guy I was thinking about is Max Wagner. Right-handed hitting first baseman. Also a first-round pick in 2022. I don't believe I've heard of this guy. It looks like he went to Clemson, but his name does not ring a bell, I should say that, but he is a high power, disciplined guy, 3 true outcome sort of hitter, fly ball hitter, extreme pull, and he's actually been good in the big leagues for the Rockies. So if you take a look here, major league numbers, past 2 seasons, 400 plate appearances in 2026, hit 25 home runs, 18 doubles, and then last year in little over 250 plate appearances, 15 doubles, 19 home runs. Definitely an interesting guy here. Barely has any service time. Probably has 1 more year of an option, but he's also quite interesting to me. I think I'm more interested in him than I am with Jordan Beck because he's actually done stuff in the major leagues, while Jordan Beck has more performed in AAA and in the minors and hasn't performed in the big leagues yet. So I'm thinking we're going to slap a claim on Max Wagner and see what we can get in him. And maybe he's Ben Sheets' replacement, or not Ben Sheets, Gavin Sheets' replacement if we, are able to trade him for something that is better than Gavin Sheets. Another guy that was interesting to me was Nick Quintana here. He's got similar ratings to like Darius Perry, league minimum hitter, or league minimum salary, and he's a guy who just the past few years, just straight up and down the board, has been an above-average league hitter. AAA just tearing things up. Even in 20 games last year at the big league level, absolutely tore things up. He is 30, has more positional versatility. Looks like he can play first, third, some corner outfield as well. So he's another guy who I'm honestly interested in slapping a claim on here, and I'm thinking I'm going to do it. Just get him on our AAA team here. If it doesn't work out, we can always just not bring him back. But we are going to slap a claim on him too. So 3 waiver claims for us on hitters. I did look at the pitchers here. Nobody really stood out to me. So we're just going to do that. Alrighty, we do end up getting the waiver claim successfully in all 3 of them. Max Wagner, Elysiel Santana, and Nick Quintana are all members of the D-backs organization now. This does mean we need to make room on the 40-man roster for them, though. So first of all, just first guy on the list, RJ Mayer. Highly doubt anybody claims him, so we are going to take him off there, and maybe we can bring him back on a minor league deal, and we don't have to pay him the $700,000 league minimum deal. So he's going to get waived and DFA'd. All right, so looking at the upcoming free agents here, and just sorting by overall, and just taking a quick glimpse. I mean, Mullins is going to be among the best here, and he's only going to be wanting like $12 million. I mean, even if he's just a really good defensive center fielder for us this season, he's a high leader guy. Our scout still thinks he's going to have some really good gap power. Maybe he bounces back. Maybe he has a good age 33 into 34 season. And Cedric Mullins is actually good for us this year. I feel like we just have to bring him back at the price that he wants. Because he doesn't want much at all, 12.6. I mean, let's just say like 2 years. Maybe we give him like a team option for the second year. Let's just see if he's interested in that at all. He is! I probably should have docked it down. I should have docked it down maybe to like 10 million. See if it would have did that. Should I get risky? All right, I tried to dock it down to 10 million. He got pissed off, so we're just going back to. Luckily, he didn't ask for a raise, but 2 years, second year being a team option. If he tears things up this year, I would be fine with bringing him back for a second year. But I mean, if he doesn't, then we can just not bring him back. But this Cedric Mullins is going to be our center fielder for this upcoming season at a much lower price than we originally had him at, and hopefully he could have a bounce back year. So Cedric Mullins submitting the offer. And there really just isn't a market for Eli White out there. I've done plenty of trade searches. I've tried to manufacture them on my own. Eli White just doesn't really have a market, so we are just not going to offer him. We're going to non-tender him, and he will not be back next season. All right, so I'm thinking I found a trade that we are going to do for DL Hall here. It's DL Hall and Connor Scott, who is, we like Connor Scott, but I mean, he's 28. He's another lefty bat. We got plenty of outfielders. He's a solid 4th outfielder on the team. He expects to start, but I mean, no options, no really movability with him. We can't send him up and down as we need him. He's got no options left. I also waived and DFA'd him to make room on one of the other guys that we claimed. So Connor Scott is currently on waivers and could be claimed by just anybody. So we might as well just try to get something for him here and pick up these 2 guys, along with sending DL Hall, who we know is entering the last year of his team control, making like $2 million this year. And we are going to be picking up Terry Murray for the Minnesota Twins, who is an extreme ground ball pitcher, 27 years old. He's got a little over 3 years of service time, so he's got a couple more years left of team control. He is projected to, or he's going to be making $1.5 million this upcoming season because he signed a contract extension. I'm totally fine with that for multiple years of team control. We're going to get him through, and he is a guy who could start for us. He could be in the bullpen for us. I like what he is. High movement, ground ball, screwball, slider, sinker, very weird pitch mix. Young guy. Definitely going to help us out here. And then we also get Patrick Riley, who only has 1 year of team control and is also a guy who could be a starter or reliever for us. He is coming off of, well, first of all, he is coming off a season where he barely pitched. I guess he got hurt or something. He did not get hurt. He's never gotten anything other than like a day-to-day injury. I guess he was just in AAA. He was just in AAA for whatever reason, which is weird because if you look at his major league splits in 2026, he was like their best pitcher. He put up a 3 WAR, and then they were just like, hey, we don't need you anymore the next season. And they put him in AAA for whatever reason, where he was solid down there. And now he is going to come to us and hopefully put up numbers like this either in our rotation or in a like stopper role or something. But he is, lots of service time, making league minimum. He is definitely going to help us. Extreme fly ball, which we all know I'm not the biggest fan of, but I feel like this stuff and the 275 grade, 60 grade cutter, I feel like that will offset a bit of that. And we have a good enough defense behind him to where he should be able to flourish. So Patrick Riley and Terry Murray are going to be coming over to the Arizona Diamondbacks, and I am going to look a little bit to see if we could possibly try to pry some lower level prospects from them, but probably not anything too major. Yeah, there's no prospects that I'm really interested in them, so this is what we're going to do. Just these two guys, straight up for these two guys. And DL Hall, you were very good for us, but you gotta do what you gotta do to have good players under team control. We're the D-backs, and we're not trying to just lose them for nothing next season. So DL Hall, see ya. And it's not even that big of a deal because the fan interest decreases slightly for DL Hall, but the fan increase is significant for Patrick Riley. I guess the people in Arizona, they just love the they love the Irish. I almost said Italian. They love the Irish. Patty Riley coming to the D-backs here. Also, Freehold, New Jersey. Shout out Shore Conference High School Sports. So I'm here out trying to trade Gavin Sheets here. Not really seeing anything that's too interesting to me, so I figured I would add Mohica to the deal and see if we could, honestly, we could probably just trade Mohica for this deal. We'll see what we'll do here. But the point is, this guy Nick Moten pops up. 24-year-old pitcher from the White Sox. I don't know what's in the water in their organization, but they've got some serious pitching prospects and serious pitching talent on their major league team and throughout their system, and this guy looks like he's the next guy. I mean, 270 grade pitches, good curveball, league average changeup, 75 grade movement, 60 grade stuff, 60 grade potential. There's 95 to 97, has a good personality. Coming off of 2026, only had 16 relief appearances, was really good. 2027, split the time between the bullpen and the rotation, and was not the greatest, but he's only 24. He's only got a year of team service. He is slotted to still make league minimum this upcoming season, and then he'll be entering arbitration, I believe, after next season. But I mean, very cheap guy to pick up here. He's ready to play right now, unlike Mohica is. And I also just don't think Mohica's really ever going to end up to be what Moten is, especially with the dog shit personality here. I'm very interested in picking up Nick Moten, possibly trying to get something else for them. Maybe we can sneak on like Sean Burke or something as well in the deal. We'll have to see. We'll toy around with it. Really, the only other guy here that I'm really interested in, or not even, I shouldn't say interested in, the only other guy who's even comparable to Moten's level is this fella, Mauricio Bascunan. 65 potential, 26 years old, little over almost 2 years, or a year and 165 days. He's a fly ball guy, got some really good ratings. But just really, really bad personality, high greed, low work ethic. I'm not trying to commit long-term to a guy like that. While Moten, that's absolutely a guy I would commit long-term to. So yeah, they just really, really love this Mohica guy. I mean, I feel like we should do this. Mohica, who, like I said, I don't think is going to end up being quite what this scat thinks he's going to be. Might as well cash in on his potential. You know, still a long way from the major leagues here. So Mohica, we're going to trade him to the White Sox, and we are going to pick up Nick Moen to our team here. Commit long-term to him, possibly sign him long-term eventually. We also are going to add on Ethan Robinson, who is a 23-year-old right-hander who they picked up in a trade with the Braves in 2024. He has 5 days of service time. He's low leader, but looks like the personality's not bad. Has a really good slider, decent fastball, around league average control movement, 55 stuff. You know, not the biggest, not the best guy out there, but I mean, looks like he could be a decent reliever, decent starter possibly too. For whatever reason, they had him at high A last year, just absolutely tearing things up. Pitched 2 games in the big leagues, was really good in both those games. He is going to be a part of our team here as a long-term controllable reliever starter option. And we are going to add Sean Burke here because we are not done acquiring Irish guys. We just love acquiring the Irish guys. This guy's from Massachusetts, went to Maryland, 2 years of major league service, expects to be a starter. He could start, he could be in the rotation, probably going to be a starter for us. I mean, we've got ourselves some really good team-controlled pitchers here in this deal. He's a guy who, at the major league level, has had back-to-back solid seasons here. Split between the bullpen and the rotation in 2026. Very good. A little bit below 2 WAR season, you know, a good ERA plus, league average FIP minus last year. I mean, I'll take that on our team. And like I said, very team controllable. All 3 of these guys. Not really that high on this guy. So we're just going to do that. We're going to go this guy straight up and get all 3 of these guys, and we're going to add them to our team this season. So I'm over here trying to swing trades to open up spot on the 40-man roster here, and I end up just looking and finding guys who I want to even add to the team even more that our teams are trying to get rid of here. So I figured, hey, we have a bunch of corner infield guys. We don't need Davison De Los Santos anymore. You know, he was okay for us in 2026. You know, didn't play for us in 2027, was in AAA, or he was a backup in 2027, went down to AAA. He was fine. Is he a long-term player for us? Probably not. So we're going to try to open up a spot for him. And all I do is end up finding these 2 guys from the Red Sox. Tamarez here, right-hander, extreme fly ball, but I mean, look at this stuff, 75 stuff, 2 75-grade pitches, a possible 70-grade curveball, you know, possible starter, stopper sort of guy. What's not to like? 27, only 2 years of service time. He's coming off of a season where he barely pitched in the big leagues, was good, was extremely good in AAA. I mean, the guy's lights out stuff. What's not to like? So we're going to acquire this guy. We're also going to acquire Juan Carella here. Calea, something like that. It's probably Calea. But 55 potential, good stuff movement, good 2-pitch mix. Another guy who could start or be in the bullpen. He is a guy who was in Boston for most of last season and was very good out of their bullpen. So why not acquire him? Only 2 years of service time, some team control on there, making league minimum. Making league minimum this upcoming season. And then Tamarez is also making league minimum. What's not to like? We're going to get rid of these guys. We're adding Joe Elvis onto the deal, extreme fly ball reliever. You know, didn't end up working out for us, but I like the other guys better. This guy, not so much. So Elvis going to go to Boston. We're going to get these 2 guys, and they're basically just taking each other's spots on the 40-man roster. And we're going to be, swinging some more trades to open up spots on the 40-man. So after all the trades we just made for all these different pitchers now, we have an absolutely loaded staff. And this gives us the ability to possibly trade some of these guys who are kind of on the outside looking in our staff. So like right now, just like a general vague idea of what our staff could look like here. Obviously, we're going to add pitch counts and all this to later, but I mean, just a very rough draft of what it could look like. Moen, Sandoval, Lilly, Burke, and Wilson in the rotation. I'm really just adding Lilly and Wilson here because they had such good seasons last year in the rotation. Obviously, Sandoval too. We think Moten's going to be like our ace eventually, if not, next season, then, eventually. But then we also got Burke, who we picked up from the White Sox, who's a solid starter. Murray could be a starter even. Rincon obviously could be a starter. Patrick Riley could be a starter. Marcelo Martinez could be a starter. And then in the bullpen, I'm thinking maybe we do keep Aaron Ashby because we're kind of low on lefties, the guys that I would want to keep besides Martinez. It's really just Fisher and Ivanko. And I'm thinking we just roll with Ashby as the stopper again next season, see what he can do. Maybe he could repeat it, and then, we just let him walk at the end of the season. Well, the setup guys are going to be Weissenberger, Cruz, and Tamares because they're just the nastiest guys of the bunch. Weissenberger's got the 80-grade slider. Cruz, we know about him, 2 80-grade pitches, fastball changeup, and some really good cutter slider too. 80-grade stuff, probably the nastiest guy on the staff. And then Tamares, who we just traded for, who also has extremely nasty stuff. So that's why these guys are setups, and the other guys are other roles because these are just the nastiest guys in the bullpen right here. Correa, we know that he is also quite nasty, so he's going to be like a middle relief secondary setup role. And then these are going to be the long men in Riley, who is a potential starter, could also be like a stopper sort of guy, but right now he's going to be in the bullpen. Terry Murray as well, long man. And then we also have Marcelo Martinez, who we know is a solid pitcher, and he's going to be in a long man role. So, we have all these guys, just a stacked rotation, and this is just the guys that are on the 40-man. We got guys that in AAA, too, who could come up and play a role at the major league level. But, like Fisher, Ivanko, probably want to keep those guys. Ivanko, we are probably going to be able to send down. Yeah, he does have one more year of options, I believe, so we are probably going to be able to send him down. But Fisher is out of options, so if we send him down, we would have to waive and DFA him with his 80-grade curveball, and maybe we can do that and he gets through. We'll just have to see. Robinson is a guy who has 3 option years left, so he's got no issue. We could just send him down to AAA. Bryce Elder is a guy who is out of option years and is slotted to make arbitration this year. Rincon has 1 more year of options left. And then Bobby Miller is a guy who is out of option years. So, Miller was so good for us that I would probably want to bring him back. And he is going to be making league minimum this upcoming season. So he's probably worth bringing back. Rincon, obviously. Robinson, obviously. Ivanko, obviously. Fisher, I would like to. But Elder is a guy who I might possibly want to try to package in a trade. He was good for us the past 2 seasons. But he's replaceable now. We have guys who can do his role of that long man. We have plenty of guys who can do that role now, and just a ton of guys on our staff in general. So Elder, maybe packaged in a deal with Gavin Sheets, or I'm also thinking that I might keep Gavin Sheets, to be quite honest, and maybe we just got to get rid of Elder and open up and get something for him, or maybe we keep him. We just have a really stacked team, is what I'm getting at here. And then just what I'm thinking with the bats here is not too different from last year. Marchand and Perry are back as the catcher tandem. Gavin Sheets we keep around at first base because I'm thinking, we could obviously use his bat here, but do I want to take the possibility that we're going to pay this guy like $5 million? Not that we can't afford that with our budget this upcoming season, but do I want to take the possibility that he's going to not be good this upcoming season, and then we could have just traded him for something? Not that he has a huge trade value right now because he is just a first baseman, but I don't know. I guess I'm just talking myself into stuff here, but I think we're going to bring him back is the thing. And then Tamar will probably stay as the starting second baseman, while Anderson is like the main backup infielder. Garcia's obviously third base, Mendez short, Carroll, Mullins, Thomas in the outfield, Cruz at DH, and then Lausch sticks around as the fourth outfielder, and Rock Riggio remains as like first base, backup corner outfield, and also like probably get some time at like second and third too. Because Riggio's just proven that he should be on the Major League roster, and we are going to keep him around on the Major League roster because he is good. And it's like, if I do get rid of Gavin Sheets, we could, he didn't put up the best numbers for us last season, but it's like, what are we going to get for him, really? It's going to be like, if we don't want to get somebody who's just making the same money as him, it's just getting like somebody like JT Ginn, and it's like, cool, do I really need that? No. We could go and take a chance on like Curtis Mead having a rebound season because he had 2 really good, I guess he was pretty good in 2024 too, and barely any time when he first came up. But then 2025, 2026 was really good. 2-WAR player, ton of hits, decent amount of home runs and doubles. But then last year really fell off, wasn't good. And we could try to like bet that he would have a bounce back season. He's younger, obviously. He is slotted to make about the same that Gavin Sheets is going to be making. But I mean, do we want to bet that Curtis Mead is going to have a bounce back season? He does have low work ethic, so, maybe he's just kind of falling off, and this is like where it starts to fall off for Curtis Mead. He is a good defender at first base, too. He has a 2 ZR, not that like first base is the most important defensive position, obviously, but he is a positive ZR player at first base, while Gavin Sheets is, not the worst defender at first base, but he's not a positive player. And if we take a look at the compare player screen here, honestly, this is kind of talking me into it here. He's younger. He's basically a similar bat here. He's just going to strike out way less than Sheets does. Not going to hit as many home runs, but he's still around league average home run. Makes contact, avoids Ks. Love those sort of guys. Has enough power to make up for it. Home runs aren't our identity anyways. We're not scoring runs by hitting home runs, so it's not like, if we replaced Gavin Sheets like 20-something home runs with like Curtis Mead hitting like 15, it's not like that's going to make a huge difference in our ability to score runs because, as we know, that's not how this team scores runs. And he would fit in with our very aggressive base running. Solid base runner, likes to steal a lot, going to swipe a decent amount of bags for a guy with his speed. Younger, like I said, right-handed bat that'll help even out the order, and he looks like he can hit against lefties and righties, so I'm honestly thinking we might do this. Gavin Sheets just swap for Curtis Mead. We're doing it. We're going to pick up Curtis Mead here. Gavin Sheets, Curtis Mead. They're basically making the same amount of money, but Curtis Mead's younger. We're doing it. Curtis Mead, Gavin Sheets, they're getting swapped. Alrighty, we do get Cedric Mullins signed to that extension. The fan interest has increased. Cedric Mullins is going to be an Arizona Diamondback for at least one more season. And then just taking a quick look at the award winners around the Major League Baseball this season, the National League MVP was Garrett Mitchell, who, honestly, while this guy wins MVP, I mean, my scout doesn't think he's a very good hitter. Doesn't look like he's that good of a defender, but somehow this guy puts up just incredible seasons. I mean, OSA doesn't think very high of him. I mean, why is this guy so good? Is it just because of his defense? He's not even a good defender. He was playing center field, a poor center field. Why? I don't... This guy is insane for a player who, I mean, scouts don't think he's any good. Well, in the American League, it is Rosario of the Minnesota Twins who gets the MVP. Hawaiian guy, just an absolute monster of a bat. 7 WAR, 179 WRC plus, 51 home runs, a 326 ISO. That's back-to-back seasons of leading the league in ISO and slugging, 200 hits, 431 WOBA. I mean, what a monster of a player. While in the National League, the top pitcher was Edwin Nunez of the St. Louis Cardinals. He gets the Cy Young. None of our guys got any votes. While in the American League, it was Logan Allen of the Cleveland Indians who gets the Cy Young Award. The National League's Rookie of the Year was Eric Bertoni. And then we actually had a guy win Silver Slugger this year at third base. It was Luis Garcia for his 4-WAR season, 28 home runs, 41 doubles. We know what he did. He was very solid. Gets a Silver Slugger forward in 2027. And then we also had Aaron Ashby was runner-up for Best NL Reliever, just barely beaten out by Mason Thompson. And then, as you would think, Alberto Mendez does indeed get the Gold Glove at shortstop, because he is the best defender in the league, essentially. 26.7 ZR, we knew that. Really bad hitter, still puts up a 3.9 WAR. Obviously, the guy is going to win a Gold Glove, and he does just that. Also, we did indeed replace our first base coach with another former player, so now both our base coaches are former, utility sort of guys. Alexi Amarista, for those of you who are baseball sickos like me, you should definitely know who Alexi Amarista is. And then we hired Rob Makowiak, I believe it was last season. Yes, it was. He was on our team for the first year last year, but he is a former Pittsburgh Pirate outfielder. All right, so we have arrived here at the free agency filings. As you can see, Aaron Ashby, we did decide to keep. He ends up getting $2.3 million through arbitration. The arbitrator ruled in favor of the player. And then we also tried to open up the spots on the 40-man. We have a bunch of first basemen with Cole, Pena, and Sheets now at the Major League roster. So, or just guys on the 40-man roster, rather. So I figured, we claimed Wagner on waivers anyways, probably never really going to play, so we decided to just waive him, see if he could pass through. And he got claimed by the Marlins. Whatever, never going to play for us anyways. So we just went ahead and gave an offer to Kevin Bethea here. You can see here I gave him a 2-year offer. My scout thinks this guy is absolutely insane. 80 grade fastball, 2 really good curveball changeup combo, 65 grade, possible 70 grade control, 80 grade stuff. Movement not great, which is, worrisome. But this guy could be insane even with that movement, with this control and stuff. Throws 100 miles an hour. Not the greatest personality, but, strikes out a ton of guys. We're signing him to a really low risk deal here. It's, like I said, it's 2 years, 2.3 million total. It's like 1.1 for the first year and like 1.2 for the second year. So even if he sucks big time, he's gonna have all his options, so we could send him down to AAA and whatnot. And we could just DFA him. I'm not against DFAing a guy if he's that bad for $2 million. I will do that any day of the week. But I don't really want to add any other pitchers to our staff here, even if we can go out and add some like cheap relievers or something. There is the possibility of getting somebody like Michael Kopech to the rotation or something, or even like Dylan Cease. But both these guys are wrecked. That's why their demand's so low, because they're just, they throw one pitch and they're just done. Robert Valdez could be an interesting pickup too. He's an extreme ground baller. We all know I like these guys. He has put up some really good seasons with Houston. He is 34 though, wants $12 million. If I was to get him, I'd give him like a 1-year deal. But like I said, we have so many good pitchers on our staff. I really don't think we need to go out and get a pitcher. Although as I say that, I'm seeing Grayson Rodriguez here. We have had some success before getting these former top prospect pitchers, like DL Hall was obviously good for us. This is Grayson Rodriguez, but Aaron Ashby's obviously broken out suddenly. Mackenzie Gore, not so much, but Bryce Elder has been good for us. Bobby Miller is like a former top prospect pitcher. For $1.6 million, I would not be opposed to adding that to our team. Has all his option years left. I'm not opposed to this, so I think we are going to offer him a contract, maybe like boot it down to like, will he do just like straight $1 million? No. 1.2, there you go. We'll give you 1.2 million. Please accept that. Come to our team. Be a stopper sort of guy. Please, come on. But that is where I'm drawing the line. I am not doing any more signings here of pitchers that we're trying to add to the major league staff. I might go down here and like add this guy, for example, to our rookie ball team or something, but we're not going to be adding any more guys to our major league staff. And when it comes to hitters here, one guy that really stands out is Ronald Acuna, just because it's Ronald Acuna. He's fragile. He only wants like 13.6 million. He is coming off a season where he was not really good. I just want to look at Major League here. Yeah, so 2027, definitely the worst season of his career here. But overall, he is an incredible player. He's going to be 30 this season, so maybe his decline is starting, but also maybe this is just a down season. But also, if we do go and sign him, what does he want here? Yeah, he wants some huge 7-year deal. We're probably not giving him that. We'd probably give him 3 years or something. But even if we did, where would we play him? We got Carroll locked in long term. We got Thomas locked in long term. We got Mullins there at center. Acuna's not going to play center. He can't play there anymore. Cruz is the DH. Where's Acuna going to play? Is he going to be our 4th outfielder at $13 million when we got Lausch and Riggio who can play those positions? I just don't think we have a clear opening to go out and acquire a bat. We have good backups, at least what I think. We have good starters. I don't have a spot open on my team here. Maybe we could get a second baseman, but I'd rather just bet that Tamar is finally going to break out in year 3 or full year 3. He's only got 2 years of service time. Or Anderson breaks out in year 2. I'd much rather bet that one of these guys are going to break out than, going out and giving big money to somebody like Acuna, just because he's Acuna and the name is enticing to go out and get. This guy is interesting, though. One of these generated free agents here. Looks like he can play a bunch of different positions. Yeah, looks like, second. Really good second baseman with the error, the double play, the range. Can not really play outfield, but I guess he can play left field if you really wanted him to. Really fast. Very interesting player. Right-handed bat. Not a really good personality whatsoever. Really dog shit personality, honestly. But I mean, could be a decent player. So I'm interested in giving him a contract. Maybe we'll give him like a $300,000 bonus on a minor league contract. Boom. Will he sign that? Like, here's another name that jumps out to me because he's so cheap and he could possibly hit a ton of home runs. But obviously, we just traded for Curtis Mead. He's proven that he can perform, while Spencer Torkelson really hasn't. He's had a couple league average seasons and then a couple really bad seasons. You know, he hits like 20 home runs every year, but he's one of these guys who hits 20 home runs while really providing absolutely nothing else of value. Or like, here's another one of these generated prospects who's interesting. Really good base runner. Extremely interesting that way. Some good gap power. Cuban 23-year-old. This is absolutely, I'm a guy I'm going to go out here and offer like a $200,000 bonus to for a minor league contract. See if we can secure him to our roster, or our organization, I should say. He's not going to be in the major leagues. I am going to offer this guy a deal though. If he's on the 40-man roster, that's cool. If he's not, he's not. But I mean, this guy, potential Mendez backup sort of guy. I mean, if Mendez gets hurt, we got like Antonio Anderson playing shortstop is what our situation is right now. And this guy, incredible name, Fonzio, Benedetto Fonzio, whatever you say his last name. I mean, incredible name, leader, high work ethic, incredibly fast. Looks like he's about the same kind of hitter that Mendez is. But I mean, absolutely insane. Tore things up in Indy ball last year. I mean, we're going to give him a contract here, minor league with an option. Sure, we'll maybe dock it down to like 1.4. Boom. We'll offer you that. Fonzio, come on and play in our AAA team. Maybe end up on the 40-man roster. Who knows? So obviously here in free agency, we have a decent amount of money to spend here, but it's just, we just don't have any spots open, and this is showing the wrong view here. But, I mean, like, we don't have a spot for anybody, We have all our starter spots are open here. Against lefties, we don't have this filled out. But against lefties, like Cruz wouldn't play, so, like, maybe we could go and sign somebody to just only play against lefties. But, I mean, I'd probably rather just do something where, maybe both Anderson and Johnson are in the lineup against lefties. Or maybe Lausch isn't against lefties, or Riggio, or Perry. The point is, we just don't have spots here for hitters. Obviously, we've acquired a ton of pitchers here in the offseason, so we don't have spots for pitchers either, unless I really wanted to go out and sign like an ace, but I don't really think I want to do that, because I feel like this is a very good 1 to 5, and then we have plenty of guys who are in the bullpen because we just don't have room for them in the rotation and could absolutely slide in and be just as good as any of these guys, I feel like. And to be fair, there really isn't even an ace here available. We're still on the first day of free agency, and it's like the wrecked guys in Kopech and Cease. Giolito is currently hurt. He wants like $24 million, but he's 33, and he's really not that good, 2-WAR, 3-WAR sort of guy, puts up around league average seasons, below league average these 2 years. I mean, I don't think that's worth the 20-something million that he's expecting. We could solidly we could definitely get those types of numbers from anybody in our rotation, if not better. Really, it's just Framber Valdez that's the interesting one, because he is coming off an injury this past season. He barely pitched in 2027. He is 34. He's the extreme ground baller. He's had some really good seasons before, but still, like 2026, he was really good, but then, these other seasons were just like 2-WAR around league average seasons. So, he's probably the most interesting one to me out there, but even he's not interesting enough to like add another guy and just keep pushing guys down into AAA to the point where we have a whole nother situation where we just have like 50 pitchers in AAA. Really, it's just Acuna who's interesting to me, because he's obviously Ronald Acuna, and he's had these really good seasons, and he just had one down year last season at age 29, and he's still not. He's going to be 30 for this upcoming season, and like I'm willing to bet he's probably going to be more so like one of these years. But once again, where are we going to play him? Are we going to have to trade somebody? But what are we going to trade them for? I just think we're going to honestly just not sign anybody else here in free agency. Stick with what our budget is. And, if we need to improve the deadline, we can do that with plenty of budget room. We can use that budget for the draft and international amateurs as well. Obviously, here in the big leagues, we have these 3 starters in the outfield. We got Lausch, we got Riggio who can play the corners. And then don't forget about Tony Fount, who is currently in AAA. If you take a look at his numbers to end last season, obviously came into high A, was very good. We put him in AA. He was very good in AA as well. Scout thinks he could possibly be a 55 grade center fielder even. I didn't put up the best showing in center field in AA, but I mean, our scout thinks he could play there a decent amount. And he's definitely a guy. I mean, he already expects to be playing in the major leagues. He's definitely a guy I'd rather go young rather than going and paying somebody at a free agency, is what I'm really saying here. We also can't forget Cameron Davis, who was our second-round pick in 2024, and he is a potential center field option for us. Same with Fount when Mullins leaves. Like, say Mullins sucks this year, we end up just, probably want to DFA him because I would want to not pay his full deal. We'd probably just put him in AAA and let him rot down there or whatever. But if he sucks, we could easily call up Fount or Cameron Davis here. Cameron Davis put up a 4 WAR in AA last year. Around a league average hitter, hit a ton of doubles, stole a ton of bases, and he's a solid defender in center and in right field. So Cameron Davis, definitely a possible player to call up at some point this season. He's not even 22 yet. Wow, big year for the Hall of Fame. 4 players got inducted, Cabrera and Verlander and Pujols, all with a huge percentage of the vote in their first year. And then Adrian Beltre made it in his 5th year with 75.2%. Alrighty, it is opening day, and it is time to decide who makes our 2028 opening day roster.